I'm honestly surprised that more people don't know about this. The difference between intuition and a gut feeling. Like, in a way, psychicness, emotional empathy, being a healer, intuition, and gut feelings, they all kind of get lumped together in this like spiritual sense. But there's like clairaudience, the ability to hear things that other people can't, clairsentience, the ability to know things that other don't, a clairvoyant, be able to see things that other people don't. So there's like distinctions, and intuition and the gut feeling are different centers. And in human design, the gut feeling comes from the sacral, the intuition comes from the spleen. They are right next to each other, but the spleen handles awareness and the like, am I healthy? Am I not healthy? Do I feel sick? Or if it's undefined, it's like, does this place feel sick? Do you feel healthy? Do you not feel healthy? And then the sacral, which is where the gut feelings come from, this is like generating sexual life force. You think about arousal, you think about hunger, you think about the visceral communication during intercourse and lovemaking, or consuming food, or purging food, right? It's very visceral. Whereas one with the intuition in the spleen is much quieter, much more cutting, much more precise. And so with the intuition in the intuition and the spleen are using fear as a way of making us more aware and thus allowing us to survive. The spleen's awareness is for survival. And again, when it's defined, it's really good at figuring out how to achieve like a healthy body. When it's undefined, you can touch someone else and be like, oh, you need magnesium spray in your eyelids, right? The undefined center will tell you about someone else. Now, when we go over to the gut, a similar thing happens. There's these gut feelings that a defined gut will give to the person that it's inside. It's the, ooh, let me get that. And if you haven't done any sacral calibrations, go check out one of my playlists, sacral calibrations, practice that. You're going to love it. But when we're working with the sacral, again, it's generating energy, whereas the spleen is just kind of in this logical scan, looking for tigers to jump out of bushes, right? And so the difference between intuition and the gut feeling is that the gut gives you guidance on what you have energy for. The spleen keeps you alive. The intuition keeps you alive. In the spleen, the intuition keeps you alive. In the sacral, the gut feeling lets you know what you have energy for. And if it's defined, you're supposed to follow that, because it's like cars like, yeah, we got gas for this hill, not for that hill. We don't got gas to go in that direction, but we got gas to go in that direction. And it's the ride, it's who's going with you, it's what the destination is. So many things the gut can process it. But much of the time, human beings, when we take in this information, including splenic awareness, we take it from our eyes, our nose, and our mouth up into our head, and it just stays up here and swirls around and thinks and solves other people's problems or applies the world's standards to itself, even though it's an individual, instead of coming back, being swallowed down into the solar plexus, down into the spleen, down into the sacral to actually be processed. So, in many ways, part of the awareness in the spleen is to help filter that sacral energy that we get into ways that are going to make us and the people around us live healthier, thrive, survive longer, to attain a state of vitality where the spleen is not in a state of fear. And so the intuition and the sacral response, the gut feeling, they're so beautifully woven in a different way than the sacral energy and the emotions are woven together. And this is why I like these distinctions, because when we look at the sacral energy being filtered by an awareness of the spleen and the intuition, contrasted with the sacral energy being woven with the emotional authority, because the emotional center, when it's defined, is an authority. It's awareness and energy at the same time, right? Which the spleen is just awareness. The solar plexus is emotion and energy and awareness. Think, mix that with the sacral, it's different. This is like make babies, build the tribe out, connect, bond, tear down walls. Like discover intimacy and discover another, learn to lose yourself in the other. And this one is much more differentiate from the other, know what's healthy for you. So they're two different sides of the body graph. And the way that we have to go about learning human design from now on in preparation for the rave children is no longer what gate do you have, oh, this channel does that. It's the simple awareness of what centers do I have in my body. We have 9 of them. What is their inclination? Are they defined or undefined? Okay. And how can I swallow more of my sensation into my body so that my body can properly pressurize and heat up or cool down whatever my sensations are going? Because again, when we keep it all up here in the head, it just blows our top off. But if we bring it down into the belly, that is the natural path that it's supposed to take. The sensations, and whether the sensations are pain or pleasure, we have a tolerance level. We have a threshold of once it's too much pleasure or too much pain, it's like, I'm out, I'm done, I give up. Ultimately, the panic and the crisis ensues and it all falls apart, right? And this is why you see like jujitsu guys have really strong what's called midline, because they're constantly dealing with other jujitsu guys on top of them, intentionally putting weight on them. And when you develop the resilience and the ability to tolerate and be calm, that translates to when you're emotionally charged at work because of something going on with your partner at home, right? That means when something's going on at work, you don't bring it home to your partner because you have a tolerance of that through building a tolerance of yourself and building a tolerance of the senses. So we're just going to do one quick eye hack for whoever stuck around for this little rant. And this is just the very teeny tiny tip of the iceberg when it comes to hacking your senses and being able to actually live and embody human design rather than just learn about it. It's going to have 3 steps. First step is called convergence. You're going to look at the bridge of your nose and you're going to go up. And you're going to do that without squinching the forehead. Squinch. Look normal. And you can even look down. Imagine if you're looking at your phone. Take your vision from this lower quadrant into the upper quadrant and find the middle up here. We know what to focus on down here. Find something to focus on up here. And it shouldn't be a strain. Again, this, you can do this looking in a mirror. Shouldn't be a strain. Should be nice and easy. Even like you can push the eyebrows down and let them be nice and heavy. Make sure you're really relaxed up here. Once you have this convergence, you're going to put your hand out in front of you at eye level. And then you're going to go from convergence to focusing on your thumb. Look at your thumbnail. Look at the detail on your thumbnail. Take it all in, and then come back to convergence. And with this back and forth, it's only your eyes moving. Convergence, thumb. Convergence, thumb. And you can start to sync up your breathing. Inhale, convergence. Exhale on the thumb. Inhale on the convergence. Exhale on the focus on the thumb. Inhale, eyes crossed for convergence. Exhale, focus on the thumb. That was 2 steps. Here's the 3rd step. After you focus on your thumb, you can switch hands. Then you're going to go into peripheral vision. You're going to look through the thumb and through anything behind the thumb and become aware of everything in your peripheral vision. You think of it in a way that your eyes are like opening up. Whereas first they were crossed, found the midline. Then they were focused into an initial point. Then they open up into this peripheral vision here. This is where so much information gets lost because we're too focused on the iPhone or focused on the problem or focused on the emotions at an inappropriate time. Come to convergence, looking at the thumb, focus, looking through the thumb into peripheral, and we're just going to hang out here. Your thumb will double in your vision as you're eating and feasting on this peripheral banquet here. We'll come back to convergence. Inhale. Exhale, focus on the thumbnail. Inhaling, looking through the thumbnail and going into the peripheral space. Convergence, finding the midline. Focus on the thumb. convergence. This is just the very tip of the iceberg when it comes to hacking your brain through your eyes. Like literally the very, very tip. Like just the tip of the eyeball. But the idea is that the eyes and the brain are made of the same tissue. So if we can train our eyes, then we can essentially hack the brain. This is like the avenues and one of the main senses that we have as human beings besides. Thanks for tuning in. Let me know in the comments if this helped you understand the difference between intuition and a gut feeling.